therefore you're taking a longer term approach and you can grow your business much higher and much larger, but over the longer term. So it's interesting to see that. And I think that will be the thinking that develops for a lot of business owners as you get into business. Initially, you're thinking you have to stay profitable, otherwise you're going to have a big cash flow problem that can put you out of business down the line. So I think the worst thing for people to do as a dropshipping business owner is to just focus on the revenue that you're generating. That's probably the number one way that would actually put you out of business if you're just trying to grow too fast or make too much revenue quickly, because you might be doing that at the expense of spending too much in ads and not doing it profitably. So if you take your eye off the right numbers to track, which is your target, which is your return on ad spend from your marketing campaigns, that's how you can get yourself into some trouble. So I want to talk a bit more about the marketing performance, Lewis, because it makes such a large impact on the net profit that we're overall able to achieve with a dropshipping business. So how can we optimize our ads for high profit rather than just for revenue?
Yeah, exactly. You don't just want ads that are just firing to try and get as much revenue at the cost of profit as possible, right? So one of the ways is the bid strategy that you choose. So for your Google ad campaigns, for example, you could choose to focus your Google ads on getting as many conversions as possible. Now, that might sound appealing, but your campaign won't then be optimized for profit. So it might just get you loads of really low-priced sales of like accessory products for maybe £50 or £100, when your core products that really generate the bulk of the profit in your business might be the ones that are £1,000 or £2,000 per order. So instead, what we do is use the bid strategy in Google Ads, maximize conversion of value, and set our target return on ad spend in there as well to whatever our target return on ad spend is. That will vary for you based on the unique circumstances of your business. So I can't say what that would be for you because it will depend on the margins you've negotiated with your suppliers. But we show you how to calculate that when you first start, and so that you can keep track of your ad campaign right down to brand level and see your different suppliers, your different brands, even down to product level, and know which products are bringing in the most profit and which are maybe bringing a lot of sales, but actually costing you so much in ads to acquire those sales that they're maybe breaking even or even loss-making. So you could have some really high-selling products and you're spending way too much on ads, or the margin's just not big enough and it doesn't tell the full story. So like you said, being aware of this is key in dropshipping, because it really is one of the only ways that you can mess it up. And I've done it. You know, I'm absolutely the first to admit that I took my eye off the ball early on with this and it nearly cost me my business. So it's something to be very, very aware of. What it means though, when you set your bid strategy to maximize conversion value, is that Google will not just aim to get any conversion. They're not just going to say, okay, well, a sale is a sale is a sale. Let's just try and find one for you. Instead, it will focus on finding the higher revenue conversions. So it will try to seek out, remember, they're using thousands of data points here to do this in real time. But if they could see someone is searching for a £2,000 barbecue and you sell that, maybe it will increase your bid so much so for that particular search, because it knows that if that person converts, then that's a very profitable sale for you. And then suddenly you get that sale and then floods of pounds come in because you make the £2,000 sale. Suddenly your return on ad spend for that campaign can go much, much higher. And so one of the ways to do that and see at a glance of how profitable you are is looking at your campaign's conversion value over cost, or return on ad spend, and just checking that that meets your target return on ad spend based on your margins with your suppliers.
And we've spoken at length about how to set up your Google ads in a recent podcast episode. So that really talks about how people can go from start to finish with setting up one of these campaigns. But the importance here is that you're setting it up with the right bid strategy to tell Google that you need to make sales profitably and you can't just be generating revenue at any cost.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing to remember is that as you scale up, your percentage net margin will likely decrease, because your business will become a bit more expensive to run if you start to really ramp things up. So your operational costs will increase. You know, that might mean spending more on ads, maybe on other ad platforms as well. You might have a few more staff, a couple of virtual assistants, someone on live chat, someone on phone support. Maybe you need a bit more accounting input from your accountant, which costs more, some more software to run your business. Now, that's okay if your increase in the volume of sales that you make increases enough to compensate for those extra costs. So imagine if you say you made £500,000 in sales, that's your revenue, okay, top line. If you had a 25% net margin, that would leave you with 125,000 in net profit. Okay, so 125 grand from 500,000. But then say you decided, I'm scaling up this business, I'm really going to ramp things up, and you doubled your revenue to £1 million in sales. If your net margin then dropped by 5% to only 20%, your margin's now dropped down by 5%, right? But because you doubled your overall sales, you've now got 200,000 in profit. So whilst, you could have stopped at 500,000 and said, that's it, that's the ceiling for my business, I want to stop here, because if I have to go any higher, then I have to give away a percentage of my margin. And you could have just settled for making 125,000 in net profit per year from forevermore and just said, well, that's it. But instead, if you scaled to that £1 million mark in revenue, even if it meant giving up that 5% extra margin due to all the extra costs, you end up with 200,000 in profit at the end of it all. So 75,000 in profit more, and that's cash profit. So what matters ultimately is the cash profit that you end up with. It's not the percentage. The percentage alone doesn't really mean anything. It's the amount you're left with overall at the end of it.
And that's all that matters. So you can make more money with a lower margin if you've scaled yourself up sufficiently. So it's up to you as a business owner to make that decision to ultimately grow the business to the level you want it to grow and take out the level of profit you want to take out as well. I think oftentimes profit, you can actually dictate how much you take out of a business. Sometimes, and my sort of understanding of this has developed after running a business for multiple years now, I realized that sometimes if you take out a lot of profit for yourself because your personal expenses are high, then that can actually stunt the growth of your business. So instead, it's better to reinvest some of the profits that you're generating, and then therefore you're taking a longer term approach and you can grow your business much higher and much larger, but over the longer term. So it's interesting to see that. And I think that will be the thinking that develops for a lot of business owners as you get into business. Initially, you're thinking so closely related to the profit that the business makes, and that is basically directly the amount that you take home. But as you grow in business and as you realize that you want to reinvest and scale and grow something that's really going to have a really large business in the future, then you want to reinvest that profit and perhaps take out less initially.